Hey, welcome back to my shop. I've got a new blank here I'm going to try out. My wife made this quite a while ago and she's been aggravating me to death to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this and see if we can turn a pin out of it. But it's got all kinds of the small color rubber bands in it. That's all in that Allumilite. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. This is the first one I've done. So we'll get started here and see what we can do. Alright, I'm going to try a little bit of a different camera angle here for you. I'm going to try, I know this video is going to be a little bit shorter than what my other videos have been, and that's kind of why I've took this process out of my videos. But I'm going to try to do the whole thing from the drilling, gluing in, barrel trimming, the whole thing. I probably won't show you the whole thing because there's too many videos out there that show the whole process, but I'll get some quick excerpts out of the videos of each process, showing you how I do those. But let's get started. What I'm going to do first here is drill out my blank. The way I do it, I don't have a pin vise yet for my drill press. I would love to have one, but just haven't got one yet. So what I've got here is a attachment. I forget what this is called, but the attachment fits on my lathe that holds the pin blank. Now I've got the drill chuck, the M2 taper, with the appropriate drill bit for this pin kit. Pin kit I'm going to be using is the, let's see what this is, the Wall Street 2. The 24 karat. So we'll get this thing drilled out and then we can start gluing. Alright, what we start out doing here is this particular pin kit, as well as most pin kits, the brass tubes are smooth. There are a few kits that you can get that has the tube already roughed up, but on this one it's smooth as a baby's butt. So what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of sandpaper and just rough it up before I start to glue up. It gives the glue something to adhere to. That looks pretty good. Alright, I use this Bob Smith Industries 5-minute quick cure epoxy. Works really well and it dries extremely fast. I was using the 15-minute when I first started using epoxy. And then I found this 5-minute epoxy and that just changed my life. It's a 50-50 mixture, so just put 2 dabs out onto a piece of cardboard or a piece of scrap wood or something like that. The black one is the epoxy, or that's the main base, and then the red one is the hardener. Now I'll just use like a popsicle stick here, mix them up real good. Doesn't really take much of this stuff. Get it up on the popsicle stick, take my tube, and get it spread around. I'll spread it about 2/3 of the way up, because as you stick it in there, it'll, if you stick this in first, it'll spread it up the rest of the way. Just stick it in there, swirl it up and down, just to spread that epoxy around. Then I'll take the other end of my popsicle stick, push it back in there, and then scrape off the excess. Alright, we'll let this sit and dry, and we'll come back to our barrel trimming. Alright, we got the epoxy all dried up now. I've got our blank back into the bit and got our barrel trimmer in the chuck. We get ready to barrel trim. All you want to do, you don't want to get into the brass, but just flatten that edge off up to the brass, just right up at it. Let's get her trimmed. Yep, there we go. Alright, I can get my mandrel on and get her bushings and everything put on and get started turning. Alright, we got everything mounted up on our mandrel. Got our bushings on. I put a few of my 7mm bushings on there just to use as spacers so I don't have my tailstock all the way up there. But let's get started. Yeah, I think this is going to look good. I'm not sure how it's going to sand though. As you can see with this Allumilite, it's messy. Just messier than wood, definitely. Usually the Allumilite, once you get it round like this, it'll come off in ribbons. But I'm assuming where all those rubber bands in there is breaking it up some. And it's just coming off in this confetti like stuff. I'm going to clean up here just a little bit so I can get started back. Well,
Got quite a bit of stuff off there. I'll tell you one thing, it is really hard to tell your shape by feeling that when it's turning, because those rubber bands are sticking out just a little bit. Hoping I'll be able to sand those off pretty good and make this one turn out real good. I don't know how it's going to sand though. We'll figure it out though. I think I'm going to stick with that shape. I don't want to take the chances because we're getting down pretty thin, and I think if we take off any more, we're going to take out some of those rubber bands, and there's really not that many left in it as much as I thought there would be. I guess where this one has such a thick tube, it's by drilling out that center, we've drilled out most of the rubber bands. But we'll shine it up and see how she turns out. Normally on the Allumilite I would go straight to the micro mesh because it's pretty much like acrylic. A lot of people do call it acrylic. I don't believe myself that it is a type of acrylic, but who knows. But if anybody knows, let me know down in the comments, because I don't think it's acrylic. It's more like a hard plastic rubber type feel. But anyways, with this one, with the rubber bands, I've got quite a bit of the rubber bands sticking out. I want to try with the regular sandpaper, see if I can't sand those down smooth with the Allumilite before I start the micro mesh. I'm going to leave my lathe up to high speed to hopefully spin it fast enough to sand it down, but not slow enough for it to catch the rubber bands to catch on the Allumilite. And maybe we can get it out there. I feel a little piece here. Might be. Tell you what we'll do. I'm going to put a little bit of thin CA glue right there. Maybe it'll drip down in there. Feel that little bitty crack. Then I'll shoot it with some activator. Alright, let's give her a try with these. I got 400 and 600 grit sandpaper. We'll give this a try and see how it goes. Yeah, that's working pretty good actually. Alright, let's hit it with some 600. Tell you what, you can't leave it on there too long. Yeah, that worked pretty good. That gets hot if you leave it too long. You gotta hit it and move on. But yeah, that got them rubber bands down smooth with that acrylic or that Allumilite now. So I'll get set up and get my micro mesh pads out and get her shined up. Alright, I got my lathe turned down to a medium speed now. I won't turn it all the way down because I'm still afraid those are going to catch. But got it on medium speed. Got my micro mesh here. I'm going from a 1500 grit to 1800 grit to 2400 grit. And then I've got a 3200 grit. So we'll see if we can't smooth this and polish it out. It's polishing up pretty good with that, but I got to thinking, I think because we have some exposed rubber bands here, I think I want to put a few coats of CA on it before, and then polish the CA. That way none of those rubber bands stay exposed. I believe I'm going to go ahead and clean up with some micro mesh, the Allumilite, and get it polished up pretty good, and then apply the CA. That way there's no scratches underneath the CA, and then I gotta redo that. So I'll finish up on this micro mesh, then apply a few coats of CA, and then redo the micro mesh. Alright, I got my CA ready. I think I'm going to drizzle it over and give it some good thick coats, and then hit it with a couple shots of activator. Just to make this quicker. We'll see how she turns out. Actually, about blew my bearings on there. I need to switch out to my non-stick bushings. Be right back. Alright, now we got our non-stick bushings on there. Let's do some CA. Okay, that's about probably 4 or 5, maybe even 6 coats. I wasn't keeping count, but it seems to cover those rubber bands up quite nicely. So now we'll get back to our micro mesh and see how this thing's going to turn out. I believe it looks good. I wish that tube was a little bit thinner, just so we could have had more rubber bands in it. Maybe I shouldn't even cut it that thin, but I think it would look kind of awkward if I made it too thick. So I don't know, we'll see. Alright, I'm going to start back over with my micro mesh at the 1500, go up to 1800, 2400, and then 3200.
Hey, that's got it.
Alright, I'm gonna get my polish out and see if it'll shine. Okay, time for the one step. Again, this is the one step plastic polish. It has the scrubbing compound in it. It gives it just a little bit of a sanding to it. Now we're going to do the Miguar's Plastex. It's one I've showed in my first video. Really like this one for the Allumilite. It gives it a nice sheen to it. As far as pen kits go, this is probably one of the easiest to put together. Well, they're all pretty easy to put together, but this one, you only need your pen press or some type of pressing device to press a part in on one part, because your nib is already together, and all you do is stick your cartridge down in. Put your spring on, put your cartridge down in there, slide this over the top of it, and screw it on. Front of the pen, it's already put together. So, all you have to do is figure out which way you want your piece to go. I think that way, that'll be the back. And then, place the back where you want it. We'll put it right there. We'll put it in our pen press. Oh yeah, I can hold it together here. And there. Press it in. Got a good fit. And then this piece just slides over top. Fits together. Pins together. See if you can see that on camera. That's what them rubber bands look like. Neat little design, I think. Not my favorite, but it's a pretty good pen, I think. I'll take some pictures of it and post them here at the end. Thanks for watching.